Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Makeup Together, how to make a simple dinner. So I knew what I was going to make tonight because I made my menu. I was going to make stuffed peppers, but I am so hungry. It's because I had like this really small lunch. So in my mind I have like all these different things that I want to eat, all these different flavors. I don't know if that happens to you when you get super hungry, that you just start craving everything. So that's where I am right now. So I am still going to be making stuffed peppers, but I'm going to be making them like super fancy. There's literally like 3 different types of food that I'm gonna, or not foods, but 3 different types of like flavors that I'm really craving right now. One of those is meatloaf. I always love meatloaf. That's my favorite food ever. I could eat meatloaf every single day. So for the ground beef, or the ground turkey actually I'm using, I wanted to kind of make it like a meatloaf kind of taste. So I'm going to be adding a little bit stuff in there. And then I really want curry rice. So I was going to be putting rice in it. So I'm just going to curry it. So we have meatloaf, curry rice, and then I really just want like cheesy lasagna. So I'm going to be adding a little bit of ricotta cheese and then just some cheddar cheese on top. So let's see if all those flavors are going to go well together. I really hope so, because that's pretty much what I'm craving right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have my rice that I made and then I just froze it, so this is good to go as far as being ready to be seasoned. And then I have my ground turkey that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Alright, so I'm going to turn this on. And then I have my ground up turkey. I definitely prefer ground beef in my cooking. So if I'm going to be making something that has a lot of flavors, I like to use the ground turkey. So I'm going to put that in there. Alright, so I have the ground beef in there, and I'm just going to wash it and let that cook a little. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the peppers that are to be stuffed. Alright, so this is the pan that I'm going to be putting them in. I tried to find one that was deeper. And then I'm going to be using orange peppers. These were the ones that were on sale. I've done stuffed peppers with green peppers before and they worked. I've also done them with red peppers, never done them with orange peppers, so we'll see how it's going to go. So I'm just going to start by just cutting off just this top part. I'm going to try not to cut off too much because I don't really want to waste all that. Alright, so I just cut that off, and then I'm going to cut around just to kind of pull this guy out. That has all the seeds. And these ones are super simple, definitely not like jalapenos. Alright, so that's it. So once I do that, I'm just going to set it in the pan, and then this I'm going to keep. If you watched my how to make bone broth video, you know that I had some of the vegetables left over, and I use the extra vegetables, or the leftover vegetables that we don't use for cooking. I use it in vegetable broth or bone broth. Alright, so I'm just gonna, look at that! There was a baby in this one. Alright, I'm not gonna eat that though. I'm just gonna throw that away. So I'm gonna just do that with all of the peppers. I have 5 of them, 1 per person. So for the meatloaf, I'm just going to be adding some of the, where's my spatula? Okay. I'm going to be adding some ketchup and some barbecue sauce to it, as well as just a little bit of seasonings. Normally in meatloaf I put other vegetables too, but that's going to be in the pepper. So I'm just going to be adding a little bit of ketchup and a little bit of barbecue sauce. Alright, so I have my barbecue sauce. This is sweet and spicy barbecue. And I'm adding 1/3 cup. I don't want to make it too saucy because there's actually not that much ground beef or ground turkey in this case, as if I was making a meatloaf. So I'm going to just use a little bit less here. So I have that in there. I'm just going to stir it up a little. You can see that in there. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then as soon as the ground beef is done, I'm going to add the ground beef to this bowl. And then we're going to do the rice in that same pan. So that is the sauce for the meatloaf. So the ground beef is ready. I'm going to just drain it because it's got some liquid in it, and then we're going to add that to the sauce. All right, Red Rover, send the turkey over. All right, so I'm just going to pour that in, and then I'm going to stir that up just with the spatula. And before I start the rice, I'm going to just add, I'm going to chop up some onion and some garlic. And that is going to also be going in here. I think I'm just going to cook that and then just mix that up with the meat. And I think I'm actually going, maybe not, am I going to add more sauce to this? Yeah, I think I will. I think I'm just going to eyeball it and just add a little bit more sauce to the ground beef. And then I'm going to just cut up just my onion and then some garlic. And just add that to the meat as well. So I'm going to cook that in the pan before I add the rice in there. And then we're almost done with getting everything ready. And I'm just going to cut these kind of small, kind of thin. I don't want like super big chunks in there. So normally I use my serrated knife, but somebody must have moved it. Maybe they're playing a little practical joke because they know I like using that one, which is all right. So yeah, I'm just going to dice that up, and then I'm going to dice up the garlic and cook that up really quick. And I'm going to add some oil in the pan, and I'm just going to use the same pan. I just kind of took everything out. Everything's going in the same place anyway, so we'll just use it. Alright, so I have the onions and the garlic done, and you can see I just kind of squirted a little bit more of the ketchup and the barbecue sauce in the pan. So I'm going to use this same pan, and I'm going to go ahead and get the rice going. So I'm going to just put it back on there. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to it, and then I'm going to add the frozen rice. Well, it's not frozen now. It's pretty thawed out, but I'm just going to add all of that, and I'm going to stir it in with the curry, and I'm going to actually also add a little bit of turmeric as well. So I think I can sneak that in. So we got the meat part down, and so next we'll get started on the rice, and I'm also going to grate just a wee bit of cheese. Alright, so we got the rice in there. It's going good. This is the first time using this curry, so I have to open it. Alright, so I'm just going to smack it in there. We're not going to do too much with the, cooking of the rice because the rice is already cooked. Okay, you know what? I'm going to use that because it does kind of take a lot. So that's the curry. And then I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric, not too much. Ooh. That one I want to use, the side with the holes. Alright, because I don't want to add too much of that. And so I added like another little thing of butter in there. So this is probably all we'll do. I'm actually just going to turn the heat off because I really just wanted it to get that softness with the butter, so that way I could add the seasonings. So I have the curry rice here. I have not started grating the cheese, so I'm going to stir this up. Then we're going to grate the cheese, and then we'll get everything all assembled. So I'm going to be grating just some sharp cheddar, not too much. I'm going to be mixing this in with the ricotta cheese to add on to the top layer. So we're going to be having some garlic bread that I make. It's mostly just cheese, pretty much. So I don't really want to overdo it. So if I have any extras in here, that'll just be less that I have to grate later. So we're going to add this in with some ricotta cheese. as the topping for the peppers. So every pepper is going to get about, let's say like one hefty spoonful on the top. I don't want to overdo it. So that's all I'm going to put in here. So we have, that was 4. So I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to add the cheese in there with it and just mix it up all as one. Less sprinkling for later. Alright, so I got everything all set up for hopefully everything to move smoothly. So I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to the peppers before I do anything. And so I'm going to get a smaller spoon and then we're going to start adding everything in. So I'm going to start out with the meat layer. I'm going to just add 1 spoonful for now, and then if I need to add more, then I'll just I'll add as we go around, so that way everything has about the same amount. Just from looking at this, I think it's probably going to need 2 spoonfuls, but I'm just trying to pack it in as tightly as I can, so that way there's no empty space and we can get all of the ingredients in there and they'll be nice and full. So I'm just going to kind of push all that down and fill it up with the ground beef, or turkey. This is turkey. So they're all filled up with the meat, and I'm going to add in the rice. I'm going to just do it over there so that way it doesn't get too messy. So we're going to do 2 spoonfuls of rice, and then I'm just pushing this down as much as I can, so that way they can all be filled to capacity. I already have some leftover meat, so I think just with this I'm just going to make a little side, because I actually have I'm going to have a lot more rice and meat left over. So I guess this recipe worked great if you have like, I don't know, like 8 peppers, I guess. Then I would have enough, but it looks like I'm going to have a lot more, which is fine. Maybe we can just freeze it and save it for another time. So I'm just going to keep adding everything in there. So we got the peppers all full, and then I'm going to just add the ricotta cheese and cheese on top of it. And I have the oven preheated right now to 400. So these are going to go in there for 15 to 20 minutes. Might need a little bit longer than that, I'm not sure, but we will see. And so I have a lot of stuff left over. I'm gonna think about what I would like to do with that. I wish I would have pulled out some more peppers, but that's all right, because I think one of these is already going to be super filling. So I'm just going to keep adding all of the cheese on there. So this is what they look like going in. I'm going to try to just fix it so that way they're all kind of sitting up together, leaning on each other. And actually I think I have a smaller pan. No, that should work. Alright, so I'm just going to put everything in the oven like that. Once again, it's on 400, and we're going to put it in for 15 minutes first and see if it needs more time. Alright, I lied. I am going to put it in a smaller container because I want them to all stand up. I don't want them to fall over. So we're going to put them in there like this. Alright, so with the extra, so I have a lot of rice and quite a bit of this, I'm just going to mix these two. Before I decided to do this, I tasted them to make sure that I 100% liked it together. Probably should have tasted that before I put them in the peppers, but you know. So I'm just going to add that, and then this will be a side that we'll just, if anybody is hungry after they eat the pepper, we'll just eat this as well. So, because this could easily fill up a lot more pepper. So if you make this recipe at home, unless you have a lot less rice, just be prepared to make more peppers. So everything is looking and smelling yummy. The food has about another 2 more minutes. I don't think I'm going to add it in for more time. I just did it at 20 minutes. So be sure to check out my Instagram to see what the final product looked like. And if you have watched this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. That's my washer. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.